What is going on, you guys? So, I was thinking about mixing, right? Because half of the time I spent thinking about mixing for whatever reason, because I'm obsessed, I guess. And I was thinking to myself, like, what is the main thing that has improved my mixing over the years? And I thought about it for a little bit, and I realized it was the moment I stopped using my eyes at all. I don't use any graphic EQs at all anymore. And I haven't for the past 2 or 3 years, and my mixes have gotten way better. Like, not even close. And I think the majority of that is looking at a graphic EQ and looking at peaks and stuff and making like little surgical cuts and stuff. And now for the most part I just do broad strokes EQ, and if I have something that's like super resonant, I'll just listen and target it and pull it out that way. And if it's in the higher register, I'll use a de-esser, and that usually does the trick, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think there's plenty of big name mix engineers who will agree that mixing with your eyes is never a good idea. I mean, at the end of the day, there's maybe one caveat there. If you have some like low rumble or something that you can't hear and you need to roll off the low end or whatever, but you're gonna do that anyway if you have something like a hi-hat. I always roll off my hi-hats, and most things you're gonna roll off anyway, so like you don't need the graphic representation of that, because it's like you don't want any possibility of something getting through anyway. It's just how it is. We know that. So yeah, I challenge you guys to start mixing more, or solely with your ears. Like, don't use your eyes. You don't need those things. You can just be blind. Blindfold yourself. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Don't blindfold yourself. But seriously though, try to do your next mix without looking at any graphic representations of your sound, and just do it that way. See how it turns out. See if you like it. And there is one more thing that has improved my mixes immensely, and these are really the only two things that I think have changed over the years. I now, almost everything I record and have in my song is in mono, and if I want a stereo, then I will record it twice in pan. So that has allowed me to choose very specifically. Everything I do is very intentional now, and I can play stuff in my mix where I want it very precisely, and it just allows so much more control over everything. And I have noticed that has made a massive difference as well. And you can get a lot more experimental with stuff. Like whenever you're working with a stereo signal, like with a VST, like a piano and stuff, I feel like it takes up so much space. But if you turn it to mono and just pan it a little right, a little left, or however you want to do it, there's just so many ways to be creative with your panning, and that has changed a lot too. That actually might be the biggest thing itself. You just make it easier on yourself, and you can add a lot more elements that way. You don't have big stereo synthesizers and stuff taking up the whole mix. You can put ear candy throughout, and it's gonna make it where you have to record more stuff, but that's what we love doing, right? We love doing that anyway. So it's beneficial for many reasons. And like whenever I used to make a lot of electronic music, for whatever reason I hated anything that was in mono. I would just I hated it. I looked down upon anything that was a mono signal. And I thought, I had all these stereo widening plugins, trying to get my mix as wide as possible, and not even thinking about phase, and heaven forbid if anything I made was played on a big system. And I actually think that I did make one song that was probably played in strip clubs in like freaking Germany or something, nowhere in the US. But yeah, that's a whole long story. But anyways, yeah, mono recordings and mono with your elements, it's just gonna make everything easier as well. You don't have to do it, but I employ you should try it out and see. It's gonna feel like you're gonna have to get used to it, of course, but in the long run, I'm telling you, it's made my mixes better, it's made my music better, and also nobody else really is doing that's recording in the box. So your sound's gonna be a little different as well, which is a good thing. I think that's always a good thing, to have a unique sound. And it's not gonna be that unique, you're still gonna have to do other things, but yeah, you get it. So yeah, use your ears, not your eyes. And what was the second one? I already forgot it. Record in mono and use mono elements as much as you possibly can. Those are my two things. That I really think that those two things alone have made my mixes so much better and made my life easier with my mixing. I would spend way more time before trying to get stuff to sit right. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, peace.